And Howler, here's my question of the day: have we bought Canada or Greenland yet? And what do you think about that? What's your take on it? You're well traveled, you're well versed in all things foreign, historical. What's your take on us getting Greenland and Canada?
Well, it depends on what they're going to do with them. Actually, I think we're getting a cooperative occupational agreement or with Greenland already. I think that's just pretty well a done deal.
Aren't we there already? We have a
we have a base there, but they're wanting to break from the EU because the Danes they've been mad about the Danes telling them what to do the last 25 or 30 years. So,
Now, okay, so say we went in and just militarily decided we were going to take over Greenland. You can't really do that, right? Because Denmark is in NATO with us, and you're not really supposed to do that.
Let me tell you something. I'm going to tell you a history of rocky things in the last 75 years.
Okay, I'm all ears.
Okay. First of all, what's the population of Greenland?
Oh gosh, can't be more than 100,000, can it?
I don't know. Should I Google it up here since I'm sitting here with my big screen up?
I don't know. It can't be very big.
So
right?
Over and under 300,000. What do you think? Over under population of?
I think it's got to be under. I'm taking
Greenland 2024. What comes up? A lot of people must be 50. No way. 56,699 people.
That's it.
I noticed the other day they said that they could give everybody $1 million, and it still is not how much money we gave the Ukraine in the last 2 years.
Gee, well, no, not if there's only 57,000 people.
So that's what I was about to say. We could probably, if we wanted to take it over, I was going to say with the Chicago Police Department, but certainly the Pennsylvania National Guard could do it.
I would think so, yeah.
But there's no reason to. I was going to go on a big tirade about what used to be in our lifetimes when me and you come to fighting age, when you filled out your
selective service
thing. You know what the third largest army in the world was at that time? Even bigger than China.
Oh God. Had to be the U.S., Russia, and
there you go. You're two out of three so far.
US, who would be the third?
Yeah.
Canada.
Nope, it was a country called Iraq. And how long did it last against the big green machine?
Not long. Not
exactly. So let me tell you just something right now. We can take over any country on the face of the earth, period, without a doubt.
Think we can take over China and Russia?
100%. We can collapse China in 90 days if we wanted to, never fire a shot, never leave America. Quit sending them our inputs and quit buying their shit, and they will collapse immediately.
Okay.
This ain't a political show. But we are not committed. So like our grandparents and our great-grandparents, the Buy America crowd, remember those people back in the day? Mm-hmm. The Jap killers? As I affectionately told my daughter the other day, she came from a long line of Jap killers. And
Which, by the way, before we get any emails, that's not what we refer to Japanese as. That is what our forefathers our grandparents referred to. We're just talking in historical terms.
Context, because that's what we do. When we talk to aliens, we use alien terms, and we use. Okay, so. But I wouldn't be for any of that if they were going to make a state out of them, because let's just face it, Greenland and Canada would probably politically align with Maine or Connecticut. So why would you want them here? You know what I mean? Why would you want to give them congressional membership or senators? Because they would just be more of the same fucking riffraff. You know what I mean? So.
Hey, now wait a second. I kind of like where you're headed with this. I kind of would like some more, Maine and Connecticut. So come on.
Well, they just stick with it long enough, and they'll burn down like California just did. Now, Canada's got natural resources. First of all, both of them are going to be on our team, regardless of whether we take them over or not. Period. Right?
Should be, right?
Yeah. Now, I think he's just trying to get ahead of it because they got their panties in uproar over Panama Canal. So
the Panama Canal, which connects the Gulf of America to the Pacific Ocean.
Well, I think it's Pacific and Atlantic. There's really
I know. I'm just trying to
I see
shoehorn
they
on
call it the Gulf of Dixie.
the Gulf of Dixie.
Yeah, it's a nice proffer for both sides.
Oh, geez. Well, it's kind of terrible what is going on out there in California, and to hear, I mean, how fast some of that stuff just went up. It's insane.
Well, it's fire, man. It's fire. I mean, I told you the fire school where they told me that they burn about 3 acres in 10 minutes.
Well, I heard an interview with the governor, and he was saying, they had prepared for this. They had places, they had stuff stationed, knowing that this was a possibility.
Okay, they had 10,000 gallon water tanks stationed up some of them neighborhoods, right?
I don't know what they had. They had whatever you want to call them, platoons, firemen and firefighters in different places, knowing it was coming. And he said he stood there. They took him to the one spot, and he said they watched this ember get blown. He said the real problem is the first night the winds were so high. They said how they really get ahead of these things is by air. Okay. And they said the first night the winds were so high you couldn't fly anything. And so they were just, bound to fight it from the ground. And then all those hydrants, there's not enough pressure because every hydrant was open. It'd be the same as if you came to Bucyrus and opened up every hydrant at the same time.
The difference is Bucyrus has and I don't know because I remember Bucyrus, don't you have a water tower?
We have 2 water towers.
There you go.
Yeah. But I mean, the water that is filling these hydrants in California was coming from 2 or 3 reservoirs that was above capacity. So there's no reality to the fact that they didn't have the water. It's the fact that as they were fighting it, they didn't have the pressure in some of the hydrants.
How come they didn't have the pressure if they had the water?
Because you can't open them all up at once. Like that's what I'm saying is, even a town like Bucyrus, you couldn't open up every fire hydrant at once, trying to fight the fire. It's not going to be.
I guess if that 117 million gallon reservoir would have been full, that might have helped them.
Well, I don't know. I don't think anything helped them. If you could have stopped the Santa Ana winds, it sounds like that would have been the only way you could have helped them. I don't know enough about Los Angeles to know that every night the Santa Ana winds pick up, it sounds like.
And
blow through. Well, I'm not world traveled.
Didn't somebody do a Steely Dan or somebody do a song about that?
I don't know. Did they? Did Steely Dan do a song called the Santa Ana Winds?
Yeah.
I don't know. All I can think of is America. I've been on a horse with no name. That's all I know from that.
But you can ride a horse through Pacific Palisades and it'll feel like a desert.
Oh boy, that's just terrible though. I think fire would be the worst.
I would say it's going to burn 3 times more than that before it's over. It's doing Brentwood. It's going to do Brentwood the next 48 hours.
Oh boy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy. Can you even imagine rebuilding that?
Well, there'll be sections of it that they'll never get rebuilt, right?
Probably. I'm sure. But I mean, we sit here and didn't San Francisco burn to the ground at one time? And it's in the early 1900s, and Chicago.
Well, they talked about Chicago. And did you see the Chicago map compared to the LA map the other day?
No, I didn't. How's that compare?
Well, the very first day, the LA fire was, I think, 80 times what Chicago was. So.
Oh, wow. Are you serious?
Mm-hmm. See,
that's insane.
Well, I mean, it's 40-some thousand acres. How big's your county you live in?
Oh, I don't have any idea.
What's your county name?
Crawford County, Ohio.
I should have known that. Crawford County, Ohio size. Crawford County.
There's a lot of Crawford counties.
Ohio.
In the United States.
Yeah, there's one right down the street from me.
I think every state in the union might
403 square miles. So let's do our math here.
Oh boy.
That's
Okay.
pretty good size. There's 640 acres to a square mile. 403 times 640 equals 257,920 acres. So what was the fire at 50,000 acres today? 48,000 something.
So,
So it's only 1/5 of the county, so it's not
1/5.
that big a fire.
Yeah, that's insane. That is insane. Just watching those pictures and seeing how it just totally devastated neighborhoods is crazy. It's crazy. It makes as bad.
I seen where they arrested somebody else lighting them today too. Did you see that?
Oh yeah, I did. Why would I don't know. Whatever.
Well, when you have these fighting age males that aren't from America, they probably don't have our Judeo-Christian values at heart. Just saying.
Maybe not. Maybe not.
Uh-huh.
I'm not going to say that was the guy lighting the fire.
Well, there was a guy that was lighting a fire for sure because they arrested him in the act.
No, but
today.
Okay.
You don't want to. Hey, you don't want. Never mind. I'm not going to say it.
What's that?
Say it. I knew that CNN and MSNBC are cleaning the house, and I thought maybe you're trying to get one of them chairs because I seen, like somebody like Anderson Cooper makes $20 million a year. I think you'd do that job for half of it, wouldn't you?
I would right now. There's like 6 inches of snow on the ground, and it's like going to be 8 degrees. So yeah, let me set aside. Yeah.
Good. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'll make sure. Maybe that's why you were sticking up for Governor Hairspray a while ago. Mm-hmm.
I wasn't sticking up for.
It just bothers me to what?
I wasn't sticking up for Governor Hairspray. I was merely stating facts that I heard. That I don't have. Hey, listen.
You heard.
Listen, I don't have a problem with facts. That's just that. That's it. I just don't have
like the 117 million gallon reservoir that services the Pacific Palisades being empty because I forgot why they're on the third reason why. Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know. I heard from the firemen speak and said they had enough water. So I mean, what are you supposed to do? Say they're liars?
I totally would, because if you had, I'm going to tell you something about pressure 101, whether it's blood pressure or water pressure, right?
Okay.
If you've got enough water, you've got pressure. If you don't have enough pressure, you don't have enough water.
Well, but then there would be
what I'm saying is
there'd be no water.
Every hydrant, listen to me. If you open every hydrant,
and
there's enough water to push it, there's enough water to push it. If you open every hydrant and it's not, you obviously do not have enough water.
Well, the systems are not set up to service every hydrant at the same time
because they don't have water towers.
Well, I don't know. I have no idea if they have water
towers. They have
towers.
pumps, and they cut the electricity off to the pump.
So the pump didn't.
Most of their pumps were turned off because as these power lines were catching on fire and poles were going down, they had large swaths of blackout. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So you're saying the solution then to be for this?
I'm saying, do you know why Bucyrus in Crawford County, just like my county, uses water towers?
Well, I was always under the assumption so that we'd have clean water to service the towns if something happened at ground level.
So why do you think they put it up in the air like that on the highest point in the counties?
Well, there is no high point in the county. They're just sitting in neighborhoods.
Well, yours might be, but like ours, they build them in the highest points in the county they can put them on.
Yeah, I was always under this assumption.
Because gravity always works so far, no matter who's elected, gravity continues to work.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's where your towns get the water pressure from.
I gotcha. Yeah, it makes sense.
It's not being pumped through town.
It makes sense in that regard, for sure. But
so if they had built a beautiful giant water
so you're
tower,
telling me if the Hollywood sign would have doubled as a
maybe
water tower,
some controlled burns, some thinning. I tell you, there's so many things that would have helped them. Probably not settling the high desert like that and pumping a bunch of water and growing brush and shit on it for the last 150 years. Probably, you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. Well, we like to settle in a lot of places that
we probably shouldn't.
that we probably should. Like,
yeah, there's a lot of things. That's not why you wanted to talk about. What are we going to talk about today?
well,
It bothers me because it's a beautiful town. I've been to LA a half a dozen times at least. I've been through Malibu there, the very beginning of Malibu when you leave like Santa Monica Pier and go north.
mm-hmm.
And anyhow.
I just listened to a podcast on the Black Dahlia murders. Okay. And I love hearing old LA story, like
yes.
LA stories. It's gritty. It was such a great, I mean, it's just, it just, I don't know that I'd want to live at that time, but there's so much character going, when you hear the history and how people settled it and
I think it would have been, I would have loved to live in California up until the last, till about 96, I would say.
Yeah. No, but that was just one place I never. I mean, I went one time. I was there right after the Rodney King riots.
That's a great time ago.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah,
it was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Well,
for sure.
Another.
But I did. But here, okay. There's another headline, and I'm not making light of any of this other stuff going on. But here was another headline I saw today that was a little discerning to me. I saw in your area of the country, Dunkin' Donuts ran out of donuts.
Oh.
Well, what the heck's going on?
They were sending them all out to the fires, I guess,
How does, and I read that they had a little supply chain issue. How does a place that it's donuts is in the name? How are you not prepared for plan B if the first guy making donuts?
Well, because all the donut shops were open at the same time.
I always look, you and I grew up with the guy, the time to make the donuts, the guy had to get up at 3:00 in the morning and time to make the donut. I mean, you remember that.
There's all kinds of donut shops here now. Don't y'all have them everywhere?
Nah, not really.
I mean, we got some Vietnamese, Koreans that I guess didn't want to open a Chinese food restaurant, or they had one, they closed it down and turned it into a donut shop, and they're busier than ever. So it's actually a donut shop in an old bake shop that they'd bought. It was a bake shop when I was a kid.
That was a great documentary. Speaking of California, it's a great documentary on Netflix about I think he was a Vietnamese guy who came over and started the donut chain. And
what donut chain?
Oh gosh, what donut chain was it? But it was a regional one in California. And so people would come over, they would kind of sponsor him, and he'd set them up with a donut shop. Yeah. Oh, it was a fantastic documentary. And it was, oh my gosh, I'm kicking myself for not being able to, but it was cool. I mean, how this guy started like as a janitor for another guy's donut shop. And he just watched and he figured out and he worked for him. And then he started. And so he kind of became the guy that, all these immigrants look to help get started. Then he had a big fall from grace. He got out of his lane a little bit, but it's great. It's a great documentary. I'll have to see if I can find the name of it, but it was kind of cool what that guy did. Built something really cool in California, and they were all these, and then they kind of splintered off. But all these people had, got created wealth and jobs and a legacy for themselves and their families to come over and work. It was kind of cool. It was really cool. But I think the problem is and I know it's not efficient, I suppose, but you know what happened to the good old days of them just making the donuts there? It's
they still do it in these little shops. You tell me Dunkin' Donuts just trucks them in every day?
Yeah, Dunkin' Donuts.
You might as well get Krispy Kremes if you're going to do that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's the bad thing is, I would rather go to a mom and pop place and get donuts, because donuts, quite frankly, are much better. Dunkin' Donuts. I don't like Dunkin' Donuts. I like the coffee. I just don't like. I don't necessarily like the donuts. But yeah, I think they'd be much better off if they just made their own. They, we got back to the guy who staggered into the donut shop in the back and made the donuts all morning. That was such a great commercial. Time to make the donuts. I know you got to remember that, right?
No. I tell you, I grew up out in the country. We didn't have donut. I mean, there was a donut shop in town somewhere, but we didn't get to go to it. We wanted donuts. We had to buy cheap ass biscuits, poke the hole out, and get a little skillet, like a saucepan, put some Crisco in it, and cook them ourselves.
Oh, hey, look, man, whatever you got to do, right? And those are probably some of the best donuts you ever had.
Well, I don't know about that. I think that you're thinking that nostalgia-wise because you think you're going to be hungry when that happens.
I know. Another headline I saw, and it might. So you remember we talked about South Carolina, the monkeys got loose.
Yeah, are they still loose, or they catch them?
Well, I saw
using them as firemen out in California.
I saw some headlines that might have been if the guys in South Carolina had seen this, what they were doing in India, they might have been able to round these monkeys up.
Eat them?
No. Let's not get to that point yet. Fed up farmers in India have started wearing bear costumes to protect their crops from monkeys. So farmers have been dressing up in bear costumes to scare the monkeys and protect their crops. The farmers based in the Indian state of Uttar Pradesh began wearing the costumes while patrolling their fields last month. Villagers pooled money to purchase a bear costume, not costumes, but a bear costume, which the farmers then take turns wearing. And these pictures, it is a pretty sad looking bear costume.
Right. Well, and the Pakistani Indians or the Dot Indians are making it themselves, or what?
Listen, it looks like a guy. It's a black slacks and a black button-up jacket, and I can't even. This mask that they're wearing is not even as good as the 99-cent ones we used to wear in the 70s with the rubber band on the back.
Right.
So here's a video taken, and it shows a farmer protecting their mustard, chickpea, wheat, and sugarcane crops from the monkeys. Now, can you imagine sharing a bear costume? How bad? So is the bear costumes aesthetics scaring off the monkeys, or is the smell of these guys sharing the costume? And why would monkeys be after mustard and chickpea and wheat? I can understand the sugarcane, but why would you eat like monkeys eating mustard seeds? And
I don't know. People eat them, don't they?
They do, but not straight out of the ground. But yeah, this is a pretty poor bear costume. It was really it's a pretty sad attempt, I gotta say, but it must be working. There's no.
Well, how long would you do it for?
I don't know. But listen, I'm looking. It's one thing to get a video of the guy standing there. I need to see a video of a guy actually running through his mustard field, screaming and yelling at a monkey to get out of there. That's a TikTok.
What would you tell a monkey?
I don't know. I mean, and why would the monkey be scared of a person in a bear Wouldn't the monkey just be scared of a person? Or wouldn't the monkey know that?
My question is, does a monkey know he's a monkey?
Does a monkey know he's a monkey? Listen, that's getting way too deep, man. But doesn't a monkey know that he's no match for a man or a bear? Let alone
does he know what a bear is or man? You know what I mean? If you're the first bear that the monkey saw, he's probably not scared of you. Right?
No. Well, no. So I'm not familiar with these, obviously, these places in India, but obviously there's bear, right? I mean, there's got to be some kinds of bear.
Maybe not.
So you think?
I don't think they have bears in India, do they? I mean, China has
So then why would
koala bears?
No, they have panda bears, koala bears, and all.
Yeah, that's it. Whatever. Bear's a bear. Apparently, if you're a monkey, the monkeys don't know they have nothing to fear but fear itself. They were never told that. They were not properly trained monkeys.
They're not like the monkeys in South. So you're telling me the monkeys in South Carolina, they're not falling for this nonsense.
They're American monkeys. And let me tell you something. Everything that gets to America thinks it deserves. It's got a lot of deserves when you get to America, no matter what kind of primate you are,
Oh,
they've Americanized these monkeys. The monkeys down in the jungle probably just lucky to get a piece of fruit and some water, right? But you get them here to America, it's like I say about these. Well, I'm not going to say it. I don't want to ruin our good time, but.
So you're saying let's not bring the monkeys from India because we're not going to bother dressing up like a bear, probably to scare them off.
I'm saying in a year or two they won't give a shit about the bear. They'll probably call somebody and they'll raise our taxes to do fake bear control against the fake bears to help the monkeys. Didn't you see the number one thing they said was on the? I'm not even going to go back to the fire in California, but you know what they said? One of the largest contributors was the eucalyptus tree, which apparently is crazy flammable, which is an invasive species. Where's the eucalyptus tree from?
Isn't that from China?
I don't know. It could be. I'm going to Google it up here.
Pandas eat eucalyptus, but so what's it like when big cough drop out there? Like, I bet everybody can breathe.
Not worth a shit. They got smoke.
That would be worse. Like it's opening up your lungs so you can breathe in more smoke. Oh, that's terrible. But yeah, eucalyptus is what pandas eat.
Well,
right?
It says, hold on, I'm getting my thing. It's more than eucalyptus is a genus of more than 700 species of flowering plants and shrubs of the Mytrachea family. Oh, Australia and New Zealand. You were way off. You were a freaking hemisphere off, dude. You need to go back to college.
So that's what you were right. That's koala bears then must eat eucalyptus.
There you go. So they
no, the pandas eat bamboo. My bad.
Yeah.
Is it? So
they say it's crazy flammable. It's a fire hazard. Eucalyptus oil is highly flammable and at a high enough temperature, the oil expands quickly and spreads wildfire. Bushfires can easily travel through an oil-rich air of the tree crowns. Eucalyptus obtain long-term fire survivability from their ability to regenerate from the eucalyptus bud. Sometimes buds.
So they're gonna
seasonally dry climates. Oaks are often more on fire. Anyway, the bottom line is they were saying that I guess 20 or 30 years ago, it was proposed. These cities want to start getting rid of these things because when they start catch on fire, they can't be put out very easy. Like a cedar tree. You ever seen a cedar tree catch on fire, I guess?
I have not, but...
Dude, what kind of farm did you grow up in?
Well, none were cedar trees caught on fire. We don't have fire. We don't...
Have cedar trees? You probably done killed them out, didn't you? Your ancestors?
Actually, my grandparents' farm was called Twin Cedar Farm.
It was. Did they got the cedar tree or not?
There was two cedar trees in front of the farm.
They cut them down, make posts out of them, or what do they do with them?
I don't know. I know they're not there anymore.
All that to say is the Greenpeace people, the Smelt Brigade, I guess sued them and said you can't cut down these cute eucalyptus trees
because of the panda bears or the koalas.
I don't know because you can't cut anything down in California apparently, except for Republicans, huh?
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of the From the Shadows podcast. Until next time, never shy away from the darkness or what may be lurking in the shadows. We are out.